migrants who cross the Mediterranean Sea be sent back to their countries of origin?
Paul Nuttall.
Well, I think, firstly, we must say that we must put a stop to this loss of life. I think we're doing the right thing, sending the Navy down to the Mediterranean. I think we must stop these people drowning, and we must ensure that we bring these traffickers of human misery to book, and they must be prosecuted. I also think that we must put more money into it. I think we should use the foreign aid budget to do so. That's what the foreign aid budget is there, for humanitarian crises. And this is a humanitarian crisis. But equally, we must accept that this is a global problem. And we need to get the African Union more involved. The Arab League need to take more responsibility. And indeed, this must come under the auspices of the United Nations.
What do you actually want to do with what do you want to do with the people who are coming over in rickety boats and landing in Italy?
Well, I will make that point in a second, because we must ensure that the Mediterranean becomes the most heavily policed piece of water on the planet to ensure that this misery stops.
Yeah, but how do you stop it?
Well, what's coming out of the summit in Brussels tonight is quite interesting, actually, because I'm hearing that there will be a proposal on the table to create an enclave in Tunisia, which will be UN-backed, where the migrants can go and you can sort out then who are the true asylum seekers and those who are the economic migrants. And what we must say is, look, the Australians seem to have got this right. Okay? 18 months ago, Australia had a similar problem to this. Not, of course, on the same scale, but a similar problem. And the Australian Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, was elected on a no-boats policy. And in effect, what he did is he created a ring of steel around Australia. And in the last 18 months, there have been no boats, no drownings, no deaths. What we must ensure is that these people are looked after safely. And the way to do that is to ensure that they don't get on the boat in the first place.
All right. OK, fine.
Would you accept that what we did in Libya has caused much of this? I mean, I sat on this programme in February 2012, and I said, what will come after Gaddafi will probably be worse. There'd be a humanitarian crisis, there'd be lots of deaths. And at the same time, you were saying that Libya was a great success. Well, it's so successful that the official government of Libya have to meet on a boat off the coast of Gibraltar.
Yeah, but that isn't... You're not saying...
No, it is. Because when Gaddafi went, the traffickers moved in.
But hang on, you're not saying there's nowhere people could get to Europe from if Libya was in a different state now, that no country along the littoral would allow people to get to Italy?
Libya is the main gateway at the moment, and it is a gateway that...
I want...
A slower, longer austerity, after all, anyway.
It did, indeed. Paul Nuttall, what do you make of the question?
Well, the original question was, would it be a catastrophe? I think it would be... in essence, very dangerous, and I think it would be an affront to democracy in this country. I mean, if you look at the SNP's manifesto, it literally reads like £140 billion worth of demands. I mean, you could literally call it the longest ransom note in history. And the democratic deficit is this. You will end up with the 1.5 million people in Scotland who voted yes in the referendum dictating the economic policy of the whole of the UK, which incorporates about 40 million voters. We think that is unfair. We think it's wrong. I personally love the union. It's a union which has given us peace and prosperity for 300 years. It's benefited the English, it's benefited the Welsh, and indeed it has benefited the Scottish as well. But the problem that we face in this century is that the union is significantly unbalanced. And it's unbalanced in a way that punishes the English, not the Scottish. You know, I want to see a rebalancing, and the way we must do that is two ways. Firstly, we must do it democratically. We must have English votes for English-only laws in the House of Commons. And secondly, we must rip up the discredited Barnett formula, which ensures that Scotland receives around £1,400 per head more than the English. There's a problem in the Union at the moment We love it, we want to keep it together, but as I say, it needs to change to suit the 21st century, and I'm guessing that the only way we can really do that is going for a fully federal UK.
All right. William Hague, you're going to... something which you can't know we will do, even if you win your 2 or 3
We've
seats.
made it perfectly clear how we will make £32 billion worth of savings. We can do this by slashing the foreign aid budget, which is absolutely crazy, considering we don't know where half of that money actually goes, that we're still giving money to 8 out of 10, the 10 most corrupt countries on the planet. We want to scrap the vanity project, which is HS2. We want to rip up the Barnett formula. And indeed, of course, there will be a dividend when we leave the European Union, which is why UKIP was indeed founded. But I just want to make one last point on this. The reality about these manifestos is this. The Conservative and Labour Party manifesto that you see now, you may as well just get it and rip it up. It's not worth the paper it's written on, because what comes after May the 7th will be some form of coalition, some form of backdoor deal. And as Lord O'Donnell said, who was the guy who put together the coalition back in 2010, this general election now and the manifestos are merely the foreplay. The consummation will happen after May the 7th.
Okay.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.